post here so that I can check whatever task you are doing. Okay. So this is the yesterday's example I asked you to try. In this example, what is the point is, in this example, user clicks on book ticket and a pop-up will come. And in the pop-up, user can select movie, select cinema, select date, select time, select seats, and clicks on this book button. Then these selected details must display on the screen, whatever details user is selecting. And according to which movie they selected, you can display the movie poster, some image. You try that. If you can do this, then it's good. Okay. You tried that example already. I asked you to try yesterday. If you're done, post into the classroom. I will check. Okay. So these are all related to what? Input. How we can manage input. So in JavaScript, now till now what we learned, I will give the summary. We discussed about JavaScript history and versions. We discussed about features and drawbacks, and we discussed about integrating JavaScript client side, means inline, embedded, and all. We learned JavaScript reference techniques, how JavaScript can refer HTML. All right. We learned about JavaScript input and output techniques. So how JavaScript can handle input and output. So by using various methods we learned. Next important, after knowing all this, now we can go into JavaScript language. So we will start from today learning about JavaScript language. We'll start with the JavaScript language. So in a language, we will learn about variables, data types, operators, statements, and functions. These all the concepts that we will learn in language basics. These are language basics. After these basics, we will learn OOP concepts and others. Advanced will come. So I can call this as JavaScript language basics. What are the JavaScript language basics? We are going to discuss these. So let's see what is this and how these work, actually, how to handle that. In the JavaScript language basics, first important, we will start understanding about variables. So what are variables and why we need variables? What is the purpose of variable? Actually, technically, variables are storage locations in memory. In memory, where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. That is the technical definition. Variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. So they are storage locations in the memory. What does this mean? For example, see, I will go to our project and here temporarily I am adding a new HTML page. So a new HTML page, some variables.html. Now here I will just write one script just for language practice. So Here I want to take input from user and I want to display hello. Input from the user and hello. Then suppose I want to display document.write. I am saying hello and the username. Whatever user is there, his name. How to take input from user? So if I want to take input from the user, here I am using prompt. That means plus here take input from the prompt. Prompt will return a string. It is going to return a string. So in the prompt, so we are defining here prompt, we are asking enter name. Enter name. So user will enter a name. Whatever the name you entered, it will be collected and displayed here. That's good. Now, after that, so a line break. In the next line, again, I am writing a sentence. And here, I want that username again. I want that username again. And I want to use that username again. I want the username and I want to use the username again. That means already the username is entered here. And I want that username again here. Then again you have to take input. Again you have to take input. That means, so here I will give some Mr. and plus again his username. That means prompt and we say enter name. That means you are asking, so here you are asking the user name 2 times. Why you are doing that? Because whatever the name he entered here, it is not stored anywhere. If it is not stored anywhere, after he entered the name, it presented the name and it is gone. Now you want second time again. Then what you have to do? If you want second time again ask him. So here we will define some other, say welcome to JavaScript, something like this we are writing. That means we are using 2 times this input. I want to use again somewhere else we want to use. Then again you need to collect it. This is the problem that we have to face. That means now when I run this, you see it is asking enter name. And when we are asking enter name, so I entered some name. So what is the name entered? I am defining the name some John. And when I said okay, then you can see it is collecting the name. After that, again, it is asking enter name. That means for the second time. And I entered the same here, John. And now it is going to display. That means hello, John. So Mr. John, welcome to this. That means whatever the value you entered earlier, the value is not permanent, right? Excuse me, hello. If you're not listening, go out. Huh? Oh, you're busy with something else? No, you will not fit into this batch. Huh? See, if you are busy, don't come to class. Huh? Don't come. It's not anything mandatory that without you, this batch cannot happen. Huh? If you are such a busy person, please don't come. Huh? Please don't disturb our environment. Okay. Keep your busyness, your superiors with you. What do you think of yourself? Huh? If you're such busy, don't come, please. Don't disturb. Okay.
We are not into your kind of people here. Okay. You may be a project manager or somebody, CEO of some company. We don't care. Here you are a student after all. You own any software company or something. You are such busy. Then you will not fit into this batch if you are busy with other things on your mobile. Okay. Please don't come. Right. So here we need 2 times to handle this. Right. What we are doing here is one time it is taking the name, another time it is taking another name. So that means whatever value you entered, it is gone after this. It is gone after this. So in that case, how to keep this value and use this value? So instead of using for one time, you can use for several times if you keep this value in the memory. For that, you need a variable. So what are variables? Variables are storage locations in memory. Storage locations in memory. So you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. That means what happens now is, just see the previous example. When you saw here in this example, what is the point is you allocated some memory. This is memory. Now in the memory, what we need to do in the memory, we can allocate some space, because memory is in the form of blocks, shells. You can allocate some space, and in that space, you can store this value. Whatever value entered, you can store that value, so that you can use this from anywhere you want and you can implement anywhere you want. That means you can use anywhere you want. You can access from anywhere. So what is the purpose of a variable? It allocates a location in memory. So that means that a memory location will have a name. That means this memory location will have a name. Under this memory location name, it can store some data, and it can access the data, and it can use it. And it can use. So what are variables and why you need variables? In any computer programming language, variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and you can use it as a part of any expression. Actually, so variables have 3 phases. Variables have 3 phases of configuration. Variables have 3 different phases of configuration. We call as declaration, so assignment, and initialization. Variables have 3 phases. Variable configuration contains 3 stages, 3 different phases. We have declaration, assignment, and initialization. For example, what is declaration? What is assignment? What is initialization? I will tell you a simple point here. For example, here I defined some var x I am writing. What is var? I will tell you, we will discuss. So there is a variable called x. X is a variable, and you declared that variable. So this is called declaring. Declaring means just naming it. After that, into that variable, you sent some value. You send some value into the variable. This is called assignment. Now the point is, sometimes while declaring variable, we will send value into it. This is called initialization. initialization. So we have three phases. We have declaring, we have assignment, and we have initialize. Many times at learning level, learners have a wrong idea. They call this as initializing value. It is not initializing value, it is assigning value. Initializing means what? Initializing means at the time of declaring. At the time of declaring, you send value into it. Then it is called as what? Initialize. At the time of declaring, if you are not sending a value, after declaring, later you are sending a value, then it is called assignment. So every variable contains three phases: declaring, assignment, and initialization. Declaring means just defining a name. Assigning means passing some value into it. And initialization means while declaring, passing value into it. Now, the key point here is JavaScript. JavaScript allows to use variables without declaring. Declaring if it is not in strict mode. If JavaScript is not in strict mode, declaring variable is not necessary. Declaring variable is not necessary if JavaScript is not in strict mode. So that means, suppose I am writing script and I am writing here x equal to 10. And I am printing here document.write x equal to the value of x plus. This is a variable called x where you declared. I am not declaring. This is not declaring. This is directly assigning. This is directly assigning a value into the variable. But very important is this is valid. It works. In several programming languages, this will not work. Why? In several programming languages, this will not work. Why it will not work? I want technical word. Why this will not work in other programming languages? Good. That means it is strictly typed. All languages are strictly typed, but JavaScript is not implicitly strictly typed. If JavaScript is strictly typed, implicitly strictly typed, if implicitly strictly typed, then it will not allow. It will not allow. That means why it is not showing an error here? Why it is allowing this? Because JavaScript is not internally strictly typed. Why other languages will not allow? Because they are strictly typed. JavaScript is not strictly typed, so it will allow to do that. If you turn on the strict mode, that means in script, how to turn on strict mode we learned. Use strict. And here I defined x equal to 10 and document.write. So x equal to value of x. This is invalid. That means this is invalid and it says x is not defined. It says x is not defined. That means x is not defined. Because as per the rules of programming, a variable must be declared. In order to use the variable, you must declare. But here it is not declared, then it will not work. So, for example, see now, I am configuring here a script. And in the script, I am writing x equal to 10, document.write x equal to plus the value of x. That means now it is going to present the value and display x equal to 10. It is working fine. there is no problem. If you want to check any errors, then you can go to inspect, and in the inspect, you can check the developer tools. That means here you can check console. You go to console, you will find if there are any errors. Means JavaScript related errors you will find in console. So now there is no error at all, but variable is not declared, directly it is used. Now I use strict mode, use strict. Then in strict mode, now it will show an error. It will show an error. So X is not defined. Because when strict mode, declaring variable is compulsory. Declaring or initializing is compulsory. Initializing means at the time of declaring only you are sending value. Declaring is there in initialization. So this is important. So JavaScript allows to use variables without declaring. And when it will do if it is not in strict mode. So if JavaScript is in strict mode, then you have to declare or initialize a variable. So by how variables are declared or initialized? JavaScript variables can be initialized or declared. They can be declared by using three keywords. We have three keywords. We have var, we have let, and we have const. These are the three keywords. Using these keywords is not compulsory if it is not in strict mode. Already all our examples up to now we done without using these keywords only. Because we are not turning on strict mode, what I have done, folder name, username, everything I have defined without declaring. Because in strict mode it allows. It is going to allow. So if JavaScript is in strict mode, declaring a variable is compulsory. And in JavaScript, variables can be declared in three ways. You can by using three keywords, var, let, and const. What is difference between them? That means what is var, what is let, and const. For example, see, I am defining, this is variable. I am defining var. That means I am initializing x10. Now you can see it is okay, working fine. I am using some let, some x20. Now you can see this is also working fine. I am using here const. So I am using const x some 30 or 40. And this is also working fine. All three are same. Then what is difference between var, let, and const? This is important. The first important, what is var? Actually, var defines a function scope variable. It defines a function scope variable. Var in JavaScript is used for function scope variable. What is a function scope variable means? Function scope variable means you can declare in any block. You can declare in any block of a function and access from any another block in the same function. You can declare in any block of a function and access from any another block in the same function. Then this is called as function scope. I will show with example, we will see. So var is used to define a variable with function scope. We call function scope variables. Var is used for function scope variable. And you can declare in any block and access in any block. For example, see here. And one more important point is actually var allows, it allows declaring, it allows declaring, it allows initialization, and assignment. All are allowed. All three are allowed. It will allow declaring, it will allow initializing, it will allow assignment. So this is why we are particular about this, because this is an issue in next level. That is the reason. So we see here I am declaring, so use strict, so that it will be in strict mode. Now I will define here where x I declared. After that, x equal to 10 I assigned. That means this part is called declaring, and this part is called assignment. After that, I am writing if condition. If x is equal to 10, then I opened a block. This is if block. In this block, I declared a variable y and I sent some value into it, 20. That means actually this is what? Initialization. I'm initializing. You can initialize, you can declare anything. So this is initializing. After that, now I am trying to define. So you see where x is declared, what I will do is to make it more clean for you. This entire I will define here. I will define entire in a function. We'll write a function. Some f1 is a function. In that function I am writing, so that you can have more clarity on this now. Now in a function, what is the variable? X. And y is also inside a function only, but it is in a if block. And I will call the function f1 at the end, so that it will execute. Now outside the if block, I am writing a statement, document.write x is equal to the value of x plus br in the next line plus y is equal to the value of y. Now see here, what is the point is, this is one block and this is another block. We are having two blocks in our program. One is function, another one is if. So now x and y are declared using var. Means inside this function scope, this is actually function scope. This is function scope. This is function scope. Inside the function scope, you can access anywhere. But y is declared where? Y is declared in if block, and you are trying to access outside that block. Am I right? Y is declared inside a block and you are trying to access outside the block. Is it valid? It is valid because it is declared with var. What var means? It makes this variable, with this variable function scope. If it makes function scope, that means what will happen? Anywhere you can access in the function. Inside the function, you can access anywhere. That means even you declare in a block, it makes this variable, var makes the variable as function scope variable. Function scope variable means you can access and use anywhere in the function. So no need to access in this block. You can access outside the block also. Outside the block, because still you are in function only. This is end of function. You are still in the function. So if you declare any variable with var, it is accessible anywhere inside that function. Even you may declare it or initialize it inside a block. It is accessible to function. That means it makes your variable, your variable function level. That means it is even you declare in some inner block, it makes function level. You can access anywhere. So you can see that now why is not a problem even if you are using outside the block. Outside the block, you are accessing it. And you can see now it is working fine. There is no problem. Why? Because var defines a function scope variable. A function scope variable means you can declare anywhere in the function in any block and access from any another block. That is the advantage here. Let me put this one syntax example first for you. So that means this y is function scope. You can access anywhere inside the function. So you have declaring, you have assignment, you have initialization, and you declared in a block, you are accessing outside the block. It's okay. It is possible to do that. Var allows to do that. Another important point is var allows. So var allows shadowing. Var allows shadowing. Var allows shadowing. What is the concept of shadowing? What is shadowing? What is shadowing? So what is the concept of shadowing? So here already I'm telling who is this Arjun or Srinivas. Already I'm telling, man, function scope means what? Function scope means what? It is accessible in which function? F1 function. So if there is F2 function, is it accessible? Now, what is that question? That is a kid-like question. I am saying function scope, man. Function scope means inside this function, anywhere it is accessible, right? So who is this Srinivas? I hope you understood what is meant by function scope. Srinivas Sahan. Yeah. Function scope means inside that function only, anywhere inside the function. Right. Yep. So this is function scope. This is going to access inside the function and define the function. First, listen to the concept completely. Then at the end, I will take doubts. Okay, na? With half of knowledge, doubts is always continuously coming. Once, if I finish the concept, after that, if you make a note of all your doubts, I can talk to you. Okay. Because in between the concept, a lot of doubts will come because you are in the middle of the concept and you are too excited about others, right? So once you let me finish the concept, you will not have any doubts. Okay, na? Right. So I will take the doubt at the end of the session if you have any doubts after listening the concept. First listen to complete concept. Now var allows declaring, var allows initialization, var allows assignment. And what does function scope means? Anywhere inside this function. It doesn't mean any function. It anywhere inside the current function only, right? So var allows shadowing. What is shadowing? Shadowing is nothing but, for example, I'm here defining var x is equal to 10. Anywhere inside the function, again, I am giving here x is equal to 30. What I am doing now? What I am doing now? I am again assigning only. I give an x equal to 40 now. Again assigning. You are assigning values. And usually what happens, whatever latest value you assign, that will be taken. Whatever latest value you assigned, it will be taken. Because usually variable follows stack mechanism. The last value in, that is the first value. Right? The point is, all are assigning only. That means you are assigning, again assigning only. For example, here I defined, so y is equal to 50. That is also assigning. After initialization also you can assign. After initialization also you can assign. After declaring you can assign. That means any number of times you are sending value into it, that is assigning. So that means it will take those values and it will display X is 40, Y is 50. This is assigning only. But if I defined, so where Y is equal to 60, already it is initialized, it is assigned, and same name identifier you are declaring and initializing again. This is called shadowing. This is called shadowing. This is not assigning or initializing, because already there is initialization. Already a variable is declared or initialized. That variable you can assign and you can use it. But if you are trying to redeclare again or reinitialize again you are using where keyword, means what? You are reinitializing. You are reinitializing means what? You are cleaning the previous memory. You are cleaning the previous memory and you are allocating the new. Right? This situation comes lot of times. That means one variable we started using, in that lot of dump data is stored, and I want same name variable again by cleaning up existing data. Reset that name. In that case, we use this technique. That means what we call this mechanism, this is called as shadowing. Shadowing means redeclaring same name identifier again. Redeclaring same name identifier again. That means you have to redeclare the same name identifier again. Actually, this is not possible in many situations. Many programming languages don't allow. If already one name is there, a variable is taken some name, it is another name, another variable cannot be with the same name, but it can be if it is with var. That means JavaScript allows to do that if it is declared with var. If any variable is declared with var, you can have same name variable declared again. Then what it will do, it will dispose the previous declaration. It will dispose the previous initialization and it will keep the new. It will keep the new one. This situation comes in so many occasions, especially when we are working with API data and all. First, we bring some data. After that, we do some manipulations on the data. After that, we filter the data. After that, what we do, finally, the filtered data only we want to use. And whatever previous manipulations happened, we want to clean up. But filtered data must be with the same name again. In that case, what we do, redefine the variables. We can redefine the variable. This is very important to define. So that means variables can be redefined. Variables can be redeclared or reinitialized. Not every time. They can be done only if it is declared by using var. If any variable is declared by using var, for example, I am using here var again x, and we are using x equal to some 15 like this. This is again called as what? Shadowing. This is shadowing because already there is x defined there. It is entering into it. After that, it is doing reset of that value. You can initialize or you can assign, but second time you are doing same name, then it is called shadowing. That means you are doing shadowing. This is allowed to do. Shadowing allowed to do. You can see there is no problem. It allows. So that is, but that is possible only by using what? That is possible only by using, technically by using var. So what is the meaning of shadowing? Shadowing is nothing but actually shadowing It is the process. It is the process of redeclaring or reinitializing same name identifier same name identifier within the function scope, because where belongs to function scope. So where allows shadowing, where allows redeclaring, reinitializing. Shadowing means even there is a variable by that name, you can declare again same name variable. It is not an error, it will simply reset the variable. That is what the process of shadowing is. And this is an example for shadowing. I will give first syntax here. Syntactically, suppose you have strict, use strict, and here we have, so where x equal to 10, and again you can declare where x equal to 20. It is possible, there is no problem. Document.write, I'm using x equal to the value of x. Then we define here script. That's fine. That means there is no issue in this. That means we can easily handle this. Technically, that is the concept of working with shadowing. This is called as what? Shadowing. This is shadowing, and this is valid. It will work. This is an example. I will copy this. Here I use several levels. So just to make you understand. Right. So where have so many points. Where is to declare function scope variable. Where declares a function scope variable, and where allows declaring, it allows initialization, and it allows assignment, and where allows shadowing. One more important is where allows hoisting. It's not hosting. Hosting is different, hoisting is different. Where allows hoisting of variable. What is hoisting is nothing but, usually in interpreted languages, this is very common concept, because interpreted languages, line by line translation happens. So hoisting is a mechanism. So it's not hosting, it is hoist. It is just like you see the word flag hoisting. Like we say flag hoisting. Can you guess, can you tell why a flag is hoisted? What you are trying to tell by hoisting a flag? What is the purpose of hoisting flag? What is the purpose of hoisting a flag? The purpose of hoisting a flag, actually, I will tell a simple concept, you will understand. For example, suppose we have a simple, here we have some group, right? Suppose we have some group of people here. So we have some group of people here, right? Now in this group, so, and suppose we have something like, let's take here, yeah. Suppose we have some mountains here, right? Now this mountain and this group, the distance between these two people is, suppose here, approximately the mountains are from far from this group. That means it is some 1 kilometer distance is there. So what happens is, one person from this group, so is here, and he need to tell his group that he is here. then usually what he will do is he will hoist a flag. He will hoist a flag because people from far cannot see him, but they can see this flag, right? So, what is the meaning of hoisting a flag? Immediately when a flag is hoisted, so say that I am here. That means it is telling that I am here. That means the purpose of hoisting a flag is to tell that we are here. You see lot of war scenes and all. Somebody captures a fort and they hoist a flag so that other people who are there, they can see that, okay, he's there. That is the meaning actually. The purpose of hoisting a flag is to tell that I am here. Right? Why NASA hoist a flag in space in moon, saying that we are here? Why somebody hoists a flag on Everest that we are here? We are here. They tell that they are there. Now, what is the point of this mechanism? This is called hoisting. This is hoisting mechanism. Now, what is this point here is, for example, see, suppose what happens now, I am declaring a variable. I am using x equal to 10, document dot write x equal to plus x. Is it valid? It is not valid because currently I am in strict mode. In strict mode, variable declaration is compulsory. I am not declaring a variable. So without declaring or initializing a variable, I am trying to use it. It is invalid. Now what I am doing is I am declaring a variable here, var x. Var x. Now actually the compiler comes here. Compiler starts here. Am I right? Compiler starts here. But it see that there is no x. There is no x. Usually this is the sequential order. That is the sequential order. But what is the specialty is it will do like this only. But what is the specialty? You declared x with var. Then what var can do is it can hoist your variable. Var can hoist your variable. That x variable is hoisted here. Then what compiler can do is when it starts, it can capture this from here and it can use it here. Understood? That means anywhere your variable may be, var will hoist it so that compiler can see from anywhere that variable and it can capture it. And after that, it will continue. This mechanism is hoisting, which is not possible in all situations. Only var can do. Only var can hoist your variable. So that means only var keyword can hoist the variables. It can hoist the variable. Declaring or initialization, it is hoisted. So hoisting is not supported in many technologies. It's not there. That means you have to declare and use. But here you can use and declare. But anyhow, compiler will find out first because translator will catch up. Because X is hoisted by your var. This mechanism is hoisting and you can see it allows to handle it, works. It is working fine. That is hoisting. This is X is hoisting. Hoisting. So X allows to hoist the variable. Hoisting is nothing but it is the process. It is the process of defining, declaring or initializing a variable, declaring or initializing a variable after using. It is the process of declaring and initializing a variable after using, which is possible. which is possible. VAR allows that hoisting mechanism also. This is the example for that. It allows hoisting. These are important points you need to understand about VAR. Actually, why this is possible in at experience level interviews, this kind of question also comes, right? That means how it can use the bottom one. You written somewhere bottom, how it can use the bottom one, how translator can do. Actually, translator, so this is possible because JavaScript, JavaScript, JavaScript interpreter can use, JavaScript interpreter can use lexical scope.
Recording stopped.
Lexical scope.
Recording
it can
in
use
progress.
lexical scope. It can use lexical scope. Lexical scope is simple. It is bottom to top. Bottom to top compiling, translating. Bottom to top translating it can do. That is what actually lexical. Lexical is one example of lexical is hoisting. That means even you defined bottom, how it is taking that bottom value and it is using it. So that means it is because of lexical mode. Lexical indicates it can handle from bottom to top. Actually, lexical is a concept of translating from bottom to top. Bottom to top. So that means, so many times in interviews, these questions are asked. Last, I will give FAQs after finishing this concept. Means every concept, I will give FAQs, what are asked in interviews related to every concept. So the one regular question is, what is lexical scope of variable? Lexical scope is nothing but, so it is the scope that refers to the translator which follows bottom to a top approach. That is a lexical model. Lexical model. That means it lexical approach actually. Generally in HTML also lexical scope is present. You people may not know, but in HTML you might have learned that actually, suppose lexical scope is, suppose there is a HTML page. There is a HTML page. In this HTML page, the script element I kept in head section. In real-time projects, you will see many of experienced developer put outside HTML. You will see many software developers in real-world projects, they keep outside HTML because outside HTML is lexical scope. Lexical scope means what happens now is this will be faster. It will be faster in processing, faster in rendering. But we don't recommend this to anybody. We will not tell officially to anybody. That means we will not tell any learner to write outside HTML. That's what I am saying. It is valid. Right? I am saying that real world developers write it. Why they write if it is not working? Right? If you have learned CSS styles and all, you might have learned that styles can be kept in head, body. It can be kept outside also. Lexical is allowed. Right? Why lexical is allowed? The point is simple. Actually, suppose lexical here, you keep outside and you see here, I'm clicking register product. It is there. That means it is popping up. It is collecting the values. It is accessing this. It is using it. And I say register, it will getting that. It is working. Why they keep outside? Because usually what happens here is you see inspect. I'm inspecting here. I'm inspecting here and go to network category. Network category. This is network. Network is used for testing the performance. In this network, what I have done, I opened this page. Now I will put this here usually in which section. As usual, I will keep in the head section. Now you can see it records the time, how much time it has taken. 561 milliseconds to load your DOM content. DOM content is loaded. It took 561 milliseconds. And I am doing the activity. You can see when I am doing the activities, I am selecting that and defining these operations and click on register. And it finish all these activities. How many requests? 11 requests happened, 6 bytes transferred, 630 KB resources are used, and finish time is 28.13 seconds. 28.13 seconds finish time of interactions. 28.13 seconds. And see here, it is 561 milliseconds. DOM content loaded. I will do one thing. I will keep this outside the script. I will keep outside. This script is kept outside. And let's refresh this here. It is 189 milliseconds. (561 to 189 milliseconds). 189 milliseconds. And I'm doing the transaction here. So I'm doing some transaction. I'm entering some data. I'm entering some values here. And I'm selecting some options here and register here. You can see it is 26.35 seconds. Previously it was 28, 21, 28. This is nothing but how much time you taken for transaction. You may take long also. That doesn't matter. Our content loaded how much time, that is important. Initial load time is how much. This will reduce the burden. That is the reason developers have an habit of keeping your script outside HTML. Script styles we keep outside. But we don't recommend this. That means we will not teach anybody that keep outside. But we keep outside, generally in real world projects. But we don't recommend our people to do that. So that means why we don't do that? Because this have abnormal behavior. Keeping in a lexical scope can be abnormal in behavior. There is no order. There is no sequence. Because if it is in a scope, then there is a sequence. If it is outside scope, then there is no sequence. If there is no sequence, it will perform fast, but sequence will not be there. Due to that, abnormal behavior may happen. Sometimes they may not work. And what are those? Sometimes only experts know. Because they worked in different scenarios. They know that for this situation, keeping outside is not good. So they will keep in the body or head. They know that for this situation, you can keep out. That situations you will understand only after working on multiple project scenarios. That is the reason you see the code in real world projects. You will be surprised that many of your senior people are writing outside. And you ask them why you are writing outside. They will say that it will perform better in this situation. And you ask them, do I need to write outside? Then he will say, no. You write what you have learned. Then give it to me. I will take care about that. Then if you ask, how do I know when to keep outside, when to keep inside? He will say, after 5-10 years, you will understand. He will not even try to explain you because it's not possible. Because how many scenarios I need to explain you to make you understand about that? That's not possible. They will simply say after 5-6 years, you will understand. Right? Because this is not recommended one. So don't try this. We will take care about this. Right? That's because we need to understand the situation, which functionality is loading first, which functionality is second. If that is mismatching, I already told you, na, JavaScript have order issues. If you don't keep the scripts in order, they will not function. CSS don't have any order issues. So they are abnormal in behavior. Abnormal in behavior, especially when you are dealing with what scripts outside. So that is what actually lexical means. Due to this mechanism, what happens is it is faster, it can identify. It can identify. Hoisting is that. So what is the concept of hoisting? Hoisting allows to use and later declare. So if anybody asked you in interview why it is possible, so because interpreter uses lexical approach. You can say lexical approach. Approach is nothing but what? Bottom to top. Interpreter uses a lexical approach. This lexical approach is lexical scope. That means bottom to top scope. That is how the translating process happens. This is why it is possible. But it is not possible in every situation. Lexical is abnormal. No? That is why I told you that var is allowing to hoist, but others will not allow. That is the problem. That means now the point here, this is var. Then what is about LET? LET, it is used to define a block scope variable, not function scope. It is a block scope variable. What is meant by block scope variable? Block scope variable means it is accessible. It is accessible to within the specified block. Within the specified block and its inner blocks. Within the specified block and its inner blocks. That is called block scope variable. That means you declared, suppose this is block outer. Now what happened is you declared here, this is block inner. That is, this is inner block and this is outer block. Now anything you declared in outer block A, this is accessible to inner block. Here also A can work. But anything you declared in inner block, that means you declared B. This B is not accessible outside. To the outer block, it is not accessible. But anything you declared in outer block, it is accessible to inner. So B is not accessible to outer block. But A is accessible. A is accessible to which block? Inner block. That means block scope means it is accessible inside the block and its inner blocks, not outside. Then you may call that, then it is function scope. A is function scope. A is not function scope. A is also block. But it is called as a function block. Because later, if in a function another function comes, then it is not accessible to outer function. It is accessible only inner function. That is the reason it is block scope. And very important here, it allows it. I will show you that practically. It allows declaring. It allows initialization. It allows declaring. It allows initialization and assignment. All are allowed, but it will not allow shadowing and hoisting. Not allowed. Shadowing and hoisting not allowed. That means LET is more restricted than var. it have limitations. So once a variable is declared, you don't want another name, same name variable to be redeclared. Then better you put a LET. You don't want variable to be accessed outside its block. Then better put as LET. For security and for reusability concerns, you need to use the suitable one. Is it var or is it LET? So you see here, now I will show you here. In this function, I am defining LET x. It is declaring x equal to 10. It is assigning. If x equal to 10, this is a block. It enters into the block. In this block, LET y is equal to 20. It is initializing. And I'm trying to access document.write x equal to the value of x. And in the next line, so y is equal to the value of y. Now this is not accessible. Why is not accessible now? Why is not accessible? Because this is function block. In that function block, we have an if block. Where is y declared? It is in if block. It is not accessible outside. You are trying to access outside the block. Var allows, but LET will not allow. LET is not going to allow. It is not going to allow. That means you can see now, when I refresh, it shows a message, y not defined. Because y is not inside it. So x is there, but remember, so half compile success means success. Then complete program should be successful, no? Right? It is a general programming common sense, right? That means half program is good, half program is not good, then it will show output. So x is okay, but there is problem in y now, right? So now the point here is, what is the concept generally? Now I will move this line into this if block. Now x is not in this block now. X is not in this block. Will it work? It will work. Why? Because it is in outer block. Outer block are accessible to inner blocks. That is not a problem now. It's okay. That works. That is what block scope means. That means the outer blocks are contents accessible to inner. Inner blocks are not accessible to outer. Now see one more here. I entered y is equal to 30. Is it valid? Why it is not valid? Here I am not initializing or declaring, I am assigning. What is shadowing means? Shadowing means redeclaring or reinitializing. Am I doing that? I am reassigning. No? I am not redeclaring or reassigning. I am assigning, reinitializing. I am doing assigning. LET allows assigning. LET allows declaring. LET allows assigning. LET allows initializing. It is assigning now. It is assigning. Assigning means it is allowed. When it is called shadowing, right? Again, if I declare LETY, then it is shadowing, and it will not allow shadowing. It will not allow shadowing. Now you can see it says that y is already declared. Now, if I used y with var, is it okay? Is it valid? Still, it is not valid. Why? Because LET is not concerned about which keyword you use. It is concerned about this name is already taken or not. Somebody var is taking that variable, then it cannot use this variable. So still it is not valid. Y is not concerned about which keyword you use. Y is concerned about which name you use. That means when you are declaring a variable with LET, it will verify that by that name, another variable is not there. It may be with a var or const or anything. Another same name should not be there. Not about the keyword. not about the keyword. So this is also not valid. It says already declared. Already declared. So it is important that it can be let or y, and you can see it is displaying that. That is what it is. So these are the options you need to configure. That means why it is this. It is not allowing what? Shadowing. It is not allowing shadowing. Shadowing is not allowed. Another important, it will not allow even hoisting also. It will not allow shadowing. It will not allow hoist. Hoisting, that means you see now here, I'm trying to use this here. Hoisting is not allowed. So I said, so document, suppose say x equal to 10, document dot write x equal to plus x. What is the error now? It says that not defined. X is not defined. It will show that error. Okay, I will define that here. So let x. Let cannot, if it is not hoisting variable, compiler will show error. It cannot hoist. Even lexical scope, hoisting is required. It is not hoisting. It is not hoisting. If it is not hoisting, then it says cannot access x. Before what? Initialization or assigning or anything. So that means you cannot access it. Even you define, suppose x equal to 10 here. Then what happened? Still it is not there, cannot access. Cannot access. But if it is done by using, var, if it is done by using var allows to hoist, it works. But let cannot hoist. So let cannot hoist. It cannot hoist your variable. So let have two restrictions now. What is that? So it cannot allow hoisting. It cannot allow shadowing. Another point is let is block scope. Let is block scope. That is very important. Another important point you need to understand, this is another option is, another is constant. Constant, it is also block scope. It is also block scope variable. It is also block scope variable. Same like let, it is also block scope. But what is about constant is it allows only initialization. It will not allow declaring and assigning. It will not allow declaring assigning. That is why we need to understand what is declaring, what is initializing, what is assigning. And why we particularly mentioned about them in var and let. Because every variable don't have that facility. That means every variable cannot allow declaring and assigning. Only var and let can allow. Const will not allow declaring and assigning. It is only, and very important is it will not allow shadowing and hoisting. It will not allow shadowing and hoisting also. It's more restricted when compared to what? Var and let. For example, I defined here, so constant x and x equal to 10, and document dot write x equal to the value of x. Then immediately it will show an error, and the error says that missing initializer. In constant declaration, initializer is missing. What is meant by initializer? Initializer means at the time of declaring itself, you need to pass some value. After passing the value, I am sending 20 into it. Is it valid? It is not valid because it allows only initializing. It will not allow assignment. You try to assign, it will not allow assigning. You see, they say assignment to constant is not allowed. Only initialization. By seeing this, some people have a wrong idea. They think that constant means read only. That means we can't change. But constant is not read only because it can change. It can change. It cannot be assigned. When it can change, at the time of initialization, it can change. That means every time when you initialize, you can send a different value. It can change, but it cannot be assigned. That means, what do you mean by changing? That means, see here, suppose I am defining here. Suppose I am asking here prompt. Am I right? Prompt, I said enter number. Now I refreshed here. So you see number is 3. It is 3. I entered 6. It is 6. It is changing. It is changing. At the time of initialization, you can change. If you tell that constant cannot be changed, that means immediately interviewer will catch you. Then he will ask, then what is read only? Tell me difference between read only and constant then. Then you struck that. Because what is read only? Read only means it will not allow to change the value, reassign. Right? Constant will not allow to assign. It is not about reassigning. It will not allow to assign, but it will allow to change by initializing. At the time of initializing, value can change. This situation you will see everywhere in modern JavaScript. In modern JavaScript, you will see that developers will be writing a lot of constants only for initializing values. They will not use var and let, because at the time of initializing memory, I need to take a value and I want to use it. And I don't want any another value to save into it. In that case, what we do? Constant. It is not read only. It is initializer. It is initializer. That means read only is completely different. Read only means it will not allow to change. So, but this allows to change. At the time of initializing, you can change. At the time of initialization, you can change. You can pass different values into it. Right? So only the point is, after you initialize some value, you cannot assign. It feels like it is read only, but it is not read only. That means you may feel like I am unable to change the value, but you are unable to change the value because already it is initialized. Again, reinitialize, it will change. At the time of initializing, again, it will change. This technique you will see in many occasions, because later you will see this regularly people using in JavaScript. For example, I said constant, some pic is equal to new image. I am declaring like this. That means now in this pic, for this pic, memory is allocated. In that pic, I can have pic.src. I can put some source. Some I can define some public /images, some a.jpg, something like this I am defining. That means I am storing some value into it. So now you see, I'm assigning na. I'm assigning a value into it. Right now you have a doubt like how you are assigning a value into it. That means actually you see, so I will put document.write. So pic.src. You see pic.src. I'm using that. You see it is showing its path. Now you said that you cannot assign. How you are assigning? Actually, I am not assigning. I am sending this value into its initializer. Understood? I am not assigning. I am sending the value into its initializer. We are not assigning. This type of approach you will see everywhere. But that means if anybody says it is read only, then interviewer will show you this code and they will say that here you said it, you cannot assign, but I am assigning, prove this point. Constant cannot be assigned, but here I am assigning. Na? but actually it is not assigning. What you are doing, you are passing this value into the memory allocated for it. That means at the time of creation, it initialized memory na. Into that memory, you are initializing this value. This is not assignment. This is initializing value into the memory. Initializing, that means what is new means memory allocated. New is a dynamic memory allocation operator. You will learn later in JavaScript about these operators. Right? This point everybody will show you in interview. In experience level, we have seen this. In experience level interviews, we have seen this, people asking, constant cannot be assigned. Now I will show you a code, prove this point, because here I am assigning. Actually, this is not assigning. This is what? Initializing. That means we are not assigning. When you say new memory, that means it is initializing. Into that memory, you are initializing the value. You are not assigning the value. That is the reason if anybody says that it is read-only, that is wrong. Because read-only is related to changing of values. Constant is related to initializing of values. And you can reinitialize the values any number of times. For example, see, I said pick.src is equal to, so public slash define some say pics slash some welcome.jpg or png, like this. I assigned another one. Actually, I am not assigning another one. I am initializing another one. Then it gets that and it uses it. That means it initializes. This is nothing but it is saying that I can't find this picture. We don't have that picture. That's okay. Because if the picture is there, we can show that picture. The point here is it is showing. That means now what you are doing, you are changing na. How you can change a constant? I can prove this point. I can show this and I say that I am changing how you say read only. If read only means after taking this, it should not allow to change. I am assigning one more value. Why it is taking? Because it is not assigning. It is what? Initializing. Again initializing this value into it. Initializing. That means again new memory is allocated. Into the new memory, this value is sent. Memory is newly allocated every time. And into that, it will load this one. That means whenever I load the page, what happens? The memory is new. When memory is newly allocated, then into the memory, you can store any kind of value. This is what actually the point is, right? So constant is not about read only. Constant is about only initialize. That means syntactically you can define const x. This is invalid. This is invalid. X equal to 10. This is also invalid. And const x equal to 10. This is valid. And it is block scope. It cannot allow shadowing. All these are common. That means again you declare x. Again you initialize x equal to 20. It will not allow. Again you define so that x scope outside, it will not able to access. So shadowing and hoisting are not allowed. Another one is declaring and assigning is not allowed. Then it have more restrictions. What is it? Initialize. So it can be initialized with different values. These are important. So these are all the basic related to declaring and initializing variables. Right? How to declare variable in JavaScript? What are the restrictions? Right? Var let keyword. What is declaring? What is assignment? And what is initialize? And now variable have a lot of other rules also. Variable naming rules are there. Variable memory allocation rules are there. Some important basic rules that we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Tomorrow we can discuss other rules about variables. Then we can go into data types, operators, statements and all. we will see some programs by using these points, right? We will see how to implement them. That we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay, anybody lately joined? So from today, our classroom code will be changed. So Google Classroom code will be changed for notes. And this is the new classroom code you need to join. This is the new Google Classroom code you have to join. I will post this to the people online who lately joined the class. And this is the code. That's the new classroom code you have to join. So you can join this. All notes and everything we will upload here. And anything, so exercises what I given, you please post those here so that I can check, right? The exercises that we are doing. Okay, na? Right. Then we'll continue in tomorrow's session. Okay, right. Yes.